Welcome to the Peak Practice Minute brought to you by Synergy. I'm Jason Lazarus, CEO of Synergy. This minute features California superstar attorney and improv specialist Brian Breiter discussing the importance of storytelling to achieve incredible verdicts.
So I will tell you a real world story of how this applies. So I had a lawyer bring me a case 2 weeks before the trial, and he told me, what the case was about. And I said, well, what's the case about? He goes, well, our client was poisoned, by Terminex when they sprayed some chemicals on him, and he lost his smell and taste forever. And I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting, but what's it about? And he goes, well, that's what it's about. I said, well, I need to meet the client. The trial's in 2 weeks. I don't know anything about this person's story. I sat down with the client, and in 20 minutes of just connecting and talking about nothing about the case, I learned who this person was. I learned that he grew up with a grandma who was a cordon bleu chef. I learned that at an early age, he had a fascination and an encyclopedic knowledge of scents, smell, and perfumes, and just deep understanding of the way things smelled and taste. That he developed a line of bath bombs that were about to be launched about fragrance and tying them to like memories and experiences. That he had traveled the world, learning about different foods and cultures. That's who this client was, that I learned very quickly about his connection with people and memories that he had from food, from, odor and scents that he had developed over the years. And that was taken away. That's what makes the story compelling. Yes, he was poisoned by this big corporation who was negligent, but it's the person who it happened to and their story on how it affected their life for those years and what it will do for the rest of his life. That was the most important thing. And just understanding the connection with the person, hearing the information, instead of just telling the story about what the defendant did and what they took away. It's meaningless if you don't have this person's history and story and understanding the way to tell it to the audience. And by the way, you have to pick the right audience for this kind of case that will be, compelled by the information. And picking the jury in that case was really basing it on the audience that's willing to listen to this person's story. Will they hear and care about what his story is? And so just having an understanding of what that was. And I didn't have a lot of time to learn about it. So I spent, a lot of time just learning who this person was. And, my co-counsel was talking about what the defendant did. So that's what he handled in the case, when I focused on, how they changed our client's life by telling that story. It was powerful. And it was all, using these improvisational techniques.
If you want to learn more secrets about peak practice, keep tuning in to the Peak Practice Minute brought to you by Synergy. But if you want to learn the secrets to achieving peak efficiency for your personal injury practice by outsourcing lien resolution, contact Synergy today.